Shalom Avracha, Hail Yidden of the Five Towns. My name is Yisroel Kaminetsky, and I was asked to say some words of Torah on Parshas Chukas. The saying goes, there are no atheists in a foxhole. Somehow, when the chips are down, when somebody's Rahman al-Islam going through a difficult time, someone's sick, someone's in need of Yeshuas Hashem for Parnasa, for a Shidduch, for whatever the situation might be. So that's when people tend to turn to the Ribono Shel Olam. But the truth is that it shouldn't take a person to be in a difficult matzav to turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Quite the contrary, when things are going well for a person, when he has enough parnasa, when he has a wonderful marriage, when his children are doing well, that's the best time to turn one's attention for Shevach v'Hodah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, thanksgiving for all that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has done. But somehow, when things are going well, we run the risk of forgetting where we got that from, the Ribono Shel Olam, as the pasuk says, "V'ram levavecha v'shachachta." But somehow, when things are down, a person turns to HaKadosh Baruch Hu more readily. Perhaps this is what the pasuk instructs us in Parshas Nitzavim, where the Torah says, "V'haya ki yavo elecha advar me'ela habracha v'aklala v'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha." So the Orach Chaim points out that I understand when the klala comes on a person that he turns to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But what does the pasuk mean? V'haya ki yavo elecha advar me'ela habracha v'aklala. So the message is that a person shouldn't have to wait for the klala in order to turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but actually from the bracha itself. V'haya ki yavo elecha advar me'ela habracha v'aklala v'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha. A person should be in a state that he recognizes the brachos that Hashem gives him. That will cause him to return to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He shouldn't need the klalos. If we remember HaKadosh Baruch Hu during the good times, he won't have to visit on us bad times, so we should remember him. And this is perhaps one understanding of what exactly Moshe's sin was in Parshas Chukas. All the Rishonim debate what exactly was Moshe's sin. It's not clear from the Chumash exactly what the sin is. All the Rishonim, the Midrashim, have various different opinions. Rashi quotes an interesting explanation. The Torah says, "Yan lo ha'emantem bi lahakti sheni." You did not believe me to create a Kiddush Hashem. And Rashi explains, what does it mean that there wasn't a Kiddush Hashem? Because had Moshe listened to the Ribono Shel Olam and just spoken to the rock, so Klal Yisrael would have made a Kal V'chomer. A rock that has no feelings, yet listens to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how much more so we who would listen to him. So the Ramban asked the obvious question, and now that Moshe hit the rock, it's still miraculous. The rock still listened to the Ribono Shel Olam to produce water, even though it was hit. So why is that not a Kiddush Hashem? It's only a Kiddush Hashem when the rock would respond to Moshe's speaking, but it's not a Kiddush Hashem when the rock would respond to Moshe's hitting the rock. Why is that such a terrible Chil Hashem? So the Maharal and the Gur Aryeh explains that the goal of the miracle of speaking to the rock, the message that was supposed to be communicated to Klal Yisrael, is just to hear the Ribono Shel Olam's voice, to hear the Ribono Shel Olam's sweet voice talking to a person. That should be enough to motivate a person to listen to the Dvar Hashem, to hear the beautiful mitzvos, the commandments of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the connection that we feel to HaKadosh Baruch Hu through just hearing His words, hearing the Dvar Hashem, knowing what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. That should be enough to cause us to listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That should be the motivator. We shouldn't need to be hit with a stick. Sometimes only when a person's hit over the head, he's hit with illness, chas v'shalom, Rahman al-Litzlan, he's hit with sorrows and difficulties, then he turns to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then he finally listens to Hashem. That was the sin of Moshe Rabbeinu. By hitting the rock, the message to Klal Yisrael is, they'd be able to make a Kal V'chomer, but only when they would be hit, they would listen to the Dvar Hashem. Had Moshe listened to HaKadosh Baruch Hu just speaking, had Moshe listened to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and caused the miracle that the rock, just when it was spoken to, would listen to the Dvar Hashem, Klal Yisrael would learn that just from hearing the beautiful, sweet words of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Dvar Hashem, that should be motivating force enough for us to connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to listen to Hashem, and to follow in the Dvar Hashem. Now that he hit the rock, it was a different kind of message, that only when you get hit, you listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you produce the water. That was the sin of Moshe Rabbeinu. May it be the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that each of us should merit in our lives bracha and hatzlacha, only brachos, only yeshuos, and the blessings of Hashem, beruchnius ubegashmius v'chol mili demeitav, and let us recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our lives and the good things, so that He shouldn't have to remind us that He's there by hitting us, by giving us the negatives, by giving us tsaros. If we appreciate HaKadosh Baruch Hu on the good times in our life, He won't have to remind us with the klalos. May I wish everybody an enjoyable week, an enjoyable Shabbos, Parshas, Chukas, Kol Tov.